Welcome to the Unveiled Epic Echoes channel. Today, we're diving deep into an unexplored historical mystery. Beneath the soft hush of twilight and the gentle murmur of distant pines lies a story long forgotten, wrapped in fog and folded into the quiet corners of America's earliest settlements. A tale whispered only by those who dared to listen closely to the land itself. And tonight, as you settle into rest, let your mind drift into the soothing currents of time as we unravel the dreamlike mystery of the village that slept 1 minute late. Long before paved roads carved their way across the continent and long before clocks were anything more than crude wooden wheels and dangling weights, there existed a small settlement tucked into a valley known as Hollow, where dawn arrived differently than anywhere else. The people of Hollow were known for their calm spirits, their unhurried way of tending to the earth, and the strange habit they carried generation after generation. Every morning, without fail, they awoke exactly 1 minute later than sunrise. This tiny discrepancy, gentle enough to be almost unnoticeable to any traveler passing through, was something the villagers insisted was not habit, nor laziness, nor coincidence, but a responsibility. They called it the Minute of Mercy. The origins of this quiet ritual were seldom spoken aloud. Instead, they were treasured in delicate oral fragments, carried reverently by elders whose eyes held the shimmer of something ancient and half-remembered. But for most outsiders, Hollow was simply a sleepy, peaceful place where time moved differently, and no one questioned why. Yet beneath the stillness lay a story deeply intertwined with forgotten civilizations and echoes from ages so old they seemed almost unreal. It began, as so many hidden truths do, with a stranger. In the year 1739, a traveling surveyor named Elias stumbled into Hollow after losing his way during a mapping expedition. The valley was not on any chart he carried, nor did the surrounding ridges resemble those he thought he had been walking along. His compass spun oddly when he tried to use it, swaying back and forth as if uncertain which direction it was meant to choose. When he arrived in the village, evening lanterns flickered on porches, illuminating faces both kind and curious. They welcomed him with warmth, guiding him toward a humble lodging beside an ancient oak whose roots spread like the fingers of time itself. It was only the next morning that Elias noticed something remarkable. The sun had clearly risen. He could see the golden light brushing over the hills, but no one stirred. Not a door creaked, not a step sounded, not a rooster crowed. Exactly 1 minute later, as though moved by a single quiet breath of wind, the village woke. Children laughed softly. Women stepped out with baskets. Men lifted tools and began their day. Elias was startled. He approached the elder, a serene woman named, and asked why the entire village slept past the dawn as if following an unseen conductor. Smiled, slow and kind, and invited him to walk with her by the river that wound gently through the valley, its surface mirroring the vast sky in delicate ripples. "This place," she said softly, "remembers what the world forgets. We sleep the extra minute because once, long ago, that minute saved us." Elias listened, entranced by the soothing layers of her voice as they fell into the rhythmic harmony of the flowing water. Told him of a time before settlers, before tribes, before even the earliest known peoples. A time when the valley itself was home to an ancient group called a civilization lost to history, known only through scattered, almost mythic traces. There were said to be a peaceful people who lived in deep attunement with celestial cycles, following rhythms of nature so precisely that they could sense shifts in the world long before they occurred. They possessed knowledge not recorded on stone or parchment, but woven into the landscape, carved into the patterns of stars reflected upon still water. One night, according to stories passed through centuries, the witnessed something extraordinary. The stars flickered, just once as if blinking. Birds fell silent. A faint, distant rumble shuddered beneath the earth. The elders of the gathered quickly, interpreting the tremor as a warning, a sign of a great upheaval approaching from lands far beyond. Their response was simple yet profound. They shifted their entire schedule, every task, every ritual, every moment, by 1 minute. Just one. A single minute of anticipation, a buffer between them and whatever unseen force was drifting toward them. And when that force finally arrived, in the form of a massive solar disturbance so powerful it might have scorched their valley with an intensity unknowable to modern understanding, this minute of preparation allowed them to take shelter in time. The disturbance passed, and the valley was spared. The survived while countless surrounding regions suffered devastating loss. From that moment onward, the people of the valley and all who settled thereafter maintained the ritual. Always wake 1 minute after dawn, honoring the wisdom that saved their ancestors. Elias listened with a mixture of skepticism and awe. As a man of charts and measurements, the idea of saving a civilization with a single minute seemed impossible. And yet, the river's calming flow, the peaceful heartbeat of the valley, the harmony that seemed to pulse through everything, it all made the impossible feel oddly plausible. That night, Elias lay awake in his small lodging beside the ancient oak. At some point deep in the night, he felt a soft shift in the air as though the valley exhaled. The silence grew thick, almost expectant. Then came it, a faint tremor beneath the earth, subtle yet undeniable. Elias sat upright, heart pounding, listening. It lasted only seconds, then faded into the night like a whispered warning swallowed by darkness. The next morning, the sun rose bright and steady, but once again the village slept. 1 minute, exactly 1 minute. And again they woke as if moved by a single breath. Elias felt a shiver of understanding sweep through him. He stayed in Hollow for several more days, drawn to its serenity and the strange yet comforting sense of balance that flowed through its rhythms. He observed the land, documented the soil, mapped the curves of the hills, and noted the subtle magnetic irregularities that seemed to blend science and mystery in a way no instrument could truly decipher. Finally, approached him, placing a gentle hand on his shoulder. "You will leave soon," she said with certainty, "but the valley will stay with you, and someday perhaps you'll tell someone the truth." Elias nodded. He had no intentions of sharing the strange events. It felt too sacred, too fragile, too easy to be dismissed by those who would never see the valley's quiet magic. But he knew the experience would follow him for the rest of his life. When he left Hollow, his compass behaved normally again, and the valley behind him seemed to fade into mist, as if slipping into a pocket of time untouched by the outside world. For decades, Elias kept his notes hidden, but near the end of his life, he passed them to a young historian who cherished stories at the edges of recorded time. It was through that historian that fragments of Hollow's secret survived, barely, quietly, almost forgotten, until rediscovered by chance in a dusty library box sealed with wax older than most towns in the region. And though modern people may not believe in such things, the valley remains untouched and unnoticed, tucked within folds of land where no major road passes. Satellite images blur oddly around it, as if technology itself respects its ancient privacy. And the people there, still tending crops and living in harmony with the quiet land, still wake precisely 1 minute late every morning. Not out of superstition, not out of resistance to change, but out of deep ancestral remembrance. Because the valley, in its gentle, murmured wisdom, remembers what the world forgets. And the minute of mercy remains, a soft buffer between the living and the unknown, a whispered shield of time. So tonight, as your breathing slows and your mind drifts on the soft currents of this story, imagine the peaceful valley, wrapped in golden dawn, holding its breath for just 1 extra minute. A single moment of safety, passed through generations like a blessing. And perhaps somewhere deep within your own sense of time, you may feel something shift, a quiet reminder that even the smallest moment, even a single minute, can hold centuries of forgotten truth. This mysterious journey ends here, but stay tuned for more untold stories in our next video. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any new stories. Thank you, and see you again.